All right, so this is form 2 of walking stick, my walking stick kata, or form, if you will, that I'm coming up with, I'm developing, it's a work in progress. Right? So form 1, we did, in this type of walking stick, where there's a bit of a, hand or top from where you're gripping, and then we have the rest of the walking stick at the bottom. Many walking sticks have a spike at the end too, for hardcore hikers. I know that life. You're walking along and you meet a threat, meaning like a human threat. Animal threats are different. We'll notice something like that. So the first form was you're going to thrust with the butt, all right, to a vulnerable upper part of the human anatomy, and then you're going to hit up or swing upwards between the legs, and then you're going to retreat. But as you retreat, you're going to make sure that they can't follow you or chase you down the road, right? And mostly when you're walking down the trail, and what I'm doing is, and how I'm formulating this is, the trail has lots of trees and you got brambles and bushes. You're not really on a wide trail, right? And yeah, I know that there are wide trails, not all. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the worst case scenario where you're just kind of even blazing your own trail, if you will, right? So you're bushwhacking, and 1, 2, 3 as you escape. Okay. This is form 2. All right. So 1, again, same thing, same sort of strike. That's going to be to the upper chin, the mandible, the face, the nose, the teeth, the eyes, and again, it's upward. It's going to catch the bridge of the eyes, so it's going to catch something. So you're going to have this reaction to the human body. The human body is going to go, oh, if it's a decent strike, right? So you do that, so that exposes what? The lower extremities, right? And it could be the abdominal region, and again, if it's a male attacker, it could be a female attacker. Just an attacker in general. You're going to, that's your first strike. Second strike is going to be upwards, which is going to hit. And what's the body going to do? They're either going to do one or two things. Most likely they're going to do this, or they're going to do this. Either way, in my experience, the body is going to react like that. And they're either going to back up. Very rarely do they come forward. They come forward after the fact, if you don't hit them right. I digress. So, 1, 2. Now, I'm going to do some fancy handwork here, right? So, 1, 2, and I'm going to take my left hand, because this is in my right hand, and I'm going to grab, and I'm going to reposition so that I can come down, right? In a cleaving motion, right? So this looks very familiar to people that study Kendo or Kenjutsu of Japanese martial arts, and many, weapon-based, sword-based martial arts. But, this is very similar to Jiu-Jitsu. If you're interested in this sort of thing, study Jiu-Jitsu. I'm not versed in it. I would like to be, but I'm just going off of my tutelage in Filipino martial arts and just weaponry in general, right? So, 1, 2, and then I'm going to turn this around, and notice how I have to keep it tight, because remember, we're in a tight, narrow space. I got this here, I got that there, right? I don't have a lot of room to start swinging wildly. So 1, 2, and then 3. Now, when you do this, and there's ways to grip it, that's a whole other conversation, but we're not going to get into that. This is going to come down. Boom. Because what's happening with the body, they're going to go, and then you want to make sure they end up, especially if you can't escape. They're barring your escape route, right? You might have to step over them or around them to get out of the way. So it's 1, 2, 3, get out of the way, or run away, right? Now, something, again, and I challenge those people that really study Kendo or Kenjutsu, is to correct me on how this downward swing should be done. And I'm doing it right-handed. It should be done left and right-handed, mind you, right? For those left-handed people. You know, again, mostly it's this way and it's coming down. But sometimes there's brambles and there's branches and you get caught up and now your body's open. So the way that I see it is it's 1, 2, and it's kind of on the shoulder now. We don't have to worry about a blade. This is a stick. It's a round thing. So we don't have to worry about blade, sort of handling, which is a whole other subject matter. So I can kind of hold it this way, and I can rope it or loop it down, right? I kind of want to back up a little bit, and maybe this makes sense. So as opposed to doing it like this, I'm going to do it more like this, right? I could illustrate it out. I'd like to illustrate it out, but that's kind of my concept. Because in the woods, on a blazing trail path, you may not have the luxury of going, right? All you can probably do is tap, right? And so if you're just going to tap, how do you generate force, right? Especially if there's no spike dent. You generate force by lowering your center, right? And again, you may not be able to see it, so I'm gonna back up a little bit, but I'm kind of in what we call a horse stance or a forward stance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my weight. So, and again, all the energy is centered on the tip of the stick, right? So I'm going to go whack, right? And I could probably even hit the floor, right? But I have to drop my stick. And again, either go around or walk over them or turn the other way if I can. So further away, form 2, 1, 2, I'm going to switch my grip to now, even if I'm square, I'm not in any sort of stance. I'm just like trying to defend myself. But I can't do a wide swing. I cannot do that. But what I can do is jut this out like that and that. Right? I can jut this out and that. Right? And then at the end of it, drop my weight. Right? And there's a bar here in front, so I won't do that to damage the property. But it will be 1, 2, that. All right, and then be ready for other people, right? Situational awareness. People are pack animals, just so you know. So people meaning people hunt in packs. So again, if you're out in the woods and you're heading along, you have form 1. 1, 2, 3, run away. This is form 2. 1, 2, okay? Not up high, but on the shoulder, because there might be brambles or trees on the pathway, and you're going to project. Because again, this could be a weapon too. If they get too close, you get packed, and then bang, right? So there's as I've been contemplating on this for a few months now, about a year now, it's kind of, I'm like, okay, how does this work? But I've never really officially studied Kenjutsu or Kendo, so I've read books by Musashi and stuff like that on how to hold the sword, blah, blah, blah. I understand what Jojutsu is, but here, again, for this form 2, 1, that's the face, 2, between the legs, switch over, and again, if that get caught up, again, that can be grounded, but that's fine. Again, not up high, go straight, boom. 1, 2, funny, that's cool. That was the rubber part of my stick here. So I gotta epoxy that back on. But anyways, it still works. Now it's sharp. So again, if your stick ever breaks, it even becomes more deadly, depending on the type of stick, because then it will splinter, and now you gotta sharpen spike, and now, again, be mindful of your laws as far as self-defense is concerned. But we're talking about a hiking scenario. You're probably out and about, you're probably by yourself. You know, form 2 from this system that I'm coming up with it is, again, resting position, thrust first, up second. Again, it's not necessarily between the legs, it could be the chin too, right? And then we're going to go on the shoulder, project forward, because that could be a thrust as well, or a hit, and then downward, but it should be set with the bottom, because we don't have the luxury of really doing a wide swing, from Japanese bladed arts and stuff like that, or other bladed arts, if you will, because we might be in a wooded area, so it has to be more boom. And it's not a tap. You really, when you have to put somebody down, you have to put them down, and then keep on going. Because this scenario is if they're blocking your way. This scenario from form 1 is when you can go the other direction, right? This scenario is if you can't, your back is against the wall, so to speak, and all you can do is fight your way out of it. Okay? So anyways, I hope this makes sense as I'm developing in this. Again, comments are certainly welcome. Again, this is just a system I'm trying to develop. You can call it a kata, you can call it a form. Again, these motions are generic. Again, just walking and hiking. I figure it would be ergonomically correct or ergonomically best to start with the first startle, like I talked about before. The start reaction, as they say. It's like tap, right? And let's take advantage of that reaction. Tap, right? And then run away. Well, maybe I can't run away. Tap, start a reaction. Tap, and then let me make sure that you cannot follow me as I go the direction that you can. All right, I hope this makes sense. Again, your feedback, comments would be very welcome.